Hi everybody, welcome to Tom's Manshed. Okay, today's review, as you'll already know from the thumbnail, is on this. It's a Iwiss. That's a little leaflet you get with it. It's an Iwiss crimper and wire cutter set. It comes with various different jaws to do different crimps on different things, which I'll go through in detail. But that's what you get in it. So I'll be going through in great detail very shortly. I'll be demonstrating it, crimping various items, including these, which are quite awkward. I'll do close-ups on all of when I'm doing these. But these little non-insulated types with the wings that fold round, which are very hard, or impossible to do properly without the proper crimpers. And it'll also do ferrules as well, and little tiny ones with the things like Molex plugs. Now, for years, let's put my glasses on. For years, I'd used something similar to this, or the ones with the actual crimping bits on the end, with the red, blue, and yellow. It's a really good set. This CK, and these are my preferred wire strippers. Put the wire in there. Automatic wire strippers. If you've never seen any of these before, go online, YouTube, click CK or any make automatic wire strippers, and that's what I want to use. But during this video, I'll be using the ones that come with this kit. So first of all, I'll just show you on Amazon the one that I bought, and make a note in this video of the mistake they've done in the advert and the wrong colours, which I'll go to in detail in a minute, on the jaws. Now, I've just squeezed this bit in just to say that it's quite a long video, this. As you know, I do waffle on a bit, and it's 45-50 minutes long. But I have tried to include every single sort of thing you can crimp with it, all the different sorts of terminals and everything. So I've also, as I mentioned at the end, it's taken the longest video I've ever done, I think, two days, because I'm the world's slowest video editor. And with all the cuts of moving cameras and demos and that, it's taken ages. So hope it's been worth your while. But if you do want to just skip to the bit that interests you, if you're not bothered about certain parts, use the segmented red stripe underneath. If you don't see it on your browser, like Firefox has problems with it, look in the description for the itemized timestamps for the bit that you want, and hopefully you'll get to it too without watching the whole video. Please watch the whole video if you can, though. And another slight edit. Before I bought this, I bought a Hilker set of, not full set, just the crimpers. But I thought they were decidedly iffy. I thought they were fake ones, so I sent them back to Amazon. But I'll explain that now in this bit from Amazon's webpage. So let's go and see that now. Now, this was the first set I bought. Just the crimpers on their own for the respective colours, and Hilker, well respected name, and I thought quite a good price, that £10.95. But if you look at the printing there on the side, that looks quite good. Hilker, just look at the font and the size of it. But compare that to the so you can see it there. Compare that to these two pictures here of the actual item I received. And if you look there at the handle, you can see half the black paint around the A and a couple of other letters is sort of peeling off. And also, if you look at the letter A on that, it's lowercase, which is lowercase on the Hilker brand. The one they show on Amazon's site is on the cardboard, it's got a lowercase a, and the one printed on the handle of the pliers has got an uppercase A. Even though it looks better quality printing, it's totally not the Hilker logo, so there's something iffy going on somewhere, so that's why they went back. Okay, so this was the one that I got, and you can see there it's the Iwiss SN, all the details are there anyway. Now, this is a 5 jaw set. They're the ones that you get with it. So I'll just go over these in sort of detail. Now, as you can see, they've totally cocked this up. They've got all the descriptions, or most of the descriptions, wrong, and the colours and everything. If you look at that top one, that's the one or I at least, will use most commonly for crimping normal insulated terminals. I'll be showing you in the demo very soon what we do with that. But if you look at it, it's on here, it's described as A2546B. Well, that is actually the part A02C. That's the part below it. They've got them two mixed up. Also, there is no A on the actual jaws printed on the jaws themselves. As you see, it's just 02C. There's no A printed on any of these jaws. But that should actually be the 02C jaws. But as well as that, they've messed up the colouring. As you say, the smallest one is green, the middle one is red, and the bottom one is blue. Where it should be, the smallest one should be red, the middle one blue, and the biggest one yellow. Now, whether that's the colour coding of Chinese crimp connectors, I don't know. But the rest of the world use that colour coding, red small, blue medium, and yellow biggest. So I've had to paint over that, as I'll be showing you very, very soon. So, like I said, that's a total cock-up on them. The one below, the one that they've labelled on this picture A02C, is actually the 2546B. But on the actual part, you'll see it's not got the letter A, it's got SN, serial number. So, again, that's a cock-up. The one below it, A6X, is correct, but there's no A on the tool, just X6. Sorry, AX6, but on the tool it's just X6. The one below that, A58B, it's correct, but on the tool it's 58BLX. And the very bottom one there, A06WF, is correct, but again there's no A on the tool. So the first two, like I said, they've got totally mixed up which is which. There's no letter A's on any of the dies on the tools, and they've got the colour coding wrong as well. On their other one, this one, they do one that's you get an extra set of jaws, but they just seem these at the top, the 35WF. I'm wondering whether WF stands for wire ferrule. I don't know, because they call it something different on the thing. What is it they call it? They call them insulated end sleeves, whereas I call them ferrules. That top one, that 35WF, fits huge ferrules. I'll never be using that, but the rest are pretty similar. But that was £11 more. Now, the one that seems to get the most reviews on YouTube is this one, the Wi-Fi one, and they do them as just the players on their own, and for 24 quid. One's for heat shrink connectors for 31 quid. I don't know why there should be like 8 quid difference when each of them just comes with one set of jaws. Then they do a 5-piece set, which is sort of similar to what I'm reviewing here. This 8-piece set, which has flag terminals on, that's the right-angled terminals, which they have a tool for that. That will be quite handy. And then they do this full set for £150. So that's the 5 set. I'm not sure whether you get the cutters with that. I think you might do. I'm not too sure, but even so, that's £74. So that's double the price of these Iwiss ones. They look very, very similar. I don't know whether they are. They look almost identical, to tell you the truth. But whether the Iwiss are any better or worse, I've no idea. But they do work fine. But that's your full choice. Just be aware of the like I say, the total cock up in the colouring and the labelling. So as you saw there, couple of sets of jaws mislabeled in the wrong order, and the main thing, that the total wrong colours in the wrong order on the set of jaws. So this is what you get in it. These are all the correct labels on the top for what each jaw does, and you get these wire cutters, and they're quite nice. They've got a little thing that holds them locked there, and you various gauges of wire through them holes, and it's a pair of pliers at the very tip. So they're pretty sharp, them, and they do the job. Like I say, I prefer to use this sort, but like I say, you do get them as a bonus. I would have got the set without them. I wasn't too bothered, but they're nice. They're a nice set. And the main things are the crimpers themselves. Now, the reason I don't particularly like using these for crimping, or the normal crimping tools, is because they only put like one thickness of crimp on it. Because this metal here is very thin, and the ones that come out the top with the crimps there, it's just like one piece of thin metal. You only get the one crimp, whereas on a proper set of crimpers like this, it's much thicker, so you get the two crimps on it. Now, as you saw on that, the bit I showed you where on Amazon, on the website, I've now put on, you can see there, a bit of blue, red and yellow paint in the right order. And on the other side as well, I've just covered it with a bit of clear lacquer, so that red is the smallest, as it should be, blue is the middle, and yellow is the biggest. Not the colours that were printed on it originally. I'll show you the colours that were printed on it originally. Here is a picture I took beforehand. And like I say, in the box are the 4 sets of jaws you get, and the labels corresponding to them. So the jaws themselves come out dead easy. You don't need tools, no screwdriver needed or anything. All you do is push that button in there. It's like a spring-loaded button. Sorry, from this side. So you press that. Don't know whether you can see that going down. The front one. It's like a spring-loaded button. And then you just pull the jaw out. Pull the other one out. And this is the set for the ferrules. So you just, again, push it in. Make sure it's fully in and locked. Push that one in. Fully locked. And that's the set for the ferrules. So dead easy to change. Now, we'll start off, so I'll put the coloured ones back in, the ones that I have now painted the proper colours. So I've got the coloured ones back in now. So I'll just show you in detail now, with close-ups and everything, of it doing a few different ones. The ones we'll start off with are these, the insulated, the ones that come with the insulation on, and that's going to be the most common, that one and that, and they do various different shapes, spades and all sorts. And then we'll go on later to the ferrules and the ones with the wings. But again, I'll go into detail of them very, very shortly. So let's have a look at it in action now, crimping on this sort of insulated terminal. Okay, so for this size cable, standard 1.5mm mains cable, you'd use one of the red connectors, and you would put these jaws in it, which are called AO2C. Why are they called them such stupid names? I don't know. Why can't I just call them jaws 1, 2, 3 and 4 or whatever? But you put these set in. The previously mentioned wrongly painted ones that I've now painted red, blue and yellow, both sides. So again, I would use a red one for this. Just check the wire will go through, as it will. And yes, it does. So if we just put the red one in and just click it till it holds it in there. And then if we insert that through to there, and I'll try and get a good angle. Don't know whether you can see that. I'll zoom in slightly. I think you can just see that the wire is just coming through the end of the crimp. That's about the right position for it. But the actual thing is sticking out of the tool a bit too much. So if we release it, I'm leaving these mistakes in. So that's it. You want you want this side of the red to be like flush with the tool, because that's the bit that crimps. It's okay for that to stick out a bit further, because that's like the bit that doesn't crimp, just the insulation. And if we shove this through the wire, what you want is the wire just coming out there, so it should be just some visible, and then carry on down and crimp that. Off, and you can see now it's a really nice crimp all the way around. It imprints, and that is absolutely solid. I just cannot get rid of that. So that's the most common sort of size I would be using. You can see there the internal diameter of a blue one compared to the red. So the blue one is more for like a 2.5mm. As you see, the red is the smallest, and that is 0.25, and then blue has got 1.5 written on it, and green 2.5. So we'll just see if a blue one would have crimped onto that. So I'll just get a bit more wire. So there's the red one we've just done. And just to show you, if we try it with, say, a blue one, which is a much bigger hole inside. So again, put that over till the wire is just coming through. And if we try the blue one using the blue section of the jaws, exactly the same, just enough. Just zoom in on that bit. So again, we've got the edge of the crimped bit lining up with the edge of the jaws there. And if we put this wire through, you can just see it coming through there, so that's right. So this is on the blue jaws. Again, if we crimp that down, looks a good crimp as it is, but I suspect when I pull this apart, try to pull this apart, I probably will be able to, because it's too big a fitting this. So let's try it. No, it's proved me a liar. So yeah, it's still crimped to that really tight, but I would be tempted to use the red size ones on wire that thick. You could use, if the terminal it's going around is a big terminal like that, you could still obviously use that wire on it, because it is absolutely, take my word for it, I cannot pull that off at all. So these are the most common fittings I'll be using. Probably the spade terminals more than anything else, but all them are in the red for this this size wire. 1.5mm. The 2.5 I would use the blue fittings on. So that's the AO2C jaws, the ones with the colours on them. Like I said, they're the ones I'll be using most. So as you saw there, the advantage of this sort of crimper over the using a thin one like this is that it has got that ratchet on it, and that enables you to just hold a fitting in exactly the right position. You can give it like one click, which is enough to hold it, but not to actually crimp it, and that leaves this hand free to put the wire in. So that's one good advantage, it'll hold it like that. And being ratchet, it's a lot easier to squeeze than the others. It's more leverage, and you're just doing bit by bit. And as you can see, that's holding there. If I wanted to release it now, I can just flip that little trigger there, and it comes out. Once you've fully crimped it, push it right down and it releases. So if I just put that in just to crimp it, so that's crimped now. But once you've squeezed the handles fully together, it then releases and does a crimp. So that was them. Now let's try it on these. Now this is something I'm not likely to use. This is a big terminal. I'll show you the jaws that we'll be using for that. It's a big non-insulated. It's only got a small hole through there, but it's this bit that it's showing you. It will take a big cable, that. So say for like a larger battery terminal or quite a big hefty cable, you'll need some much bigger jaws than that, and that's what we're going to use now. So let's see crimping one of them now. Okay, so this is about the biggest sort of crimp, biggest fitting I've got, and the biggest wire. As you can see, it's off an old 12-volt battery boost pack that I threw away, and I just kept this bit. It's so thick, this cable, I've had to actually reduce down to get in this, because this is the biggest fitting I've got. For something this size, you would need a bigger tool than this, really. This is about the biggest it goes up to, sort of 6mm. So for this, you would put in these jaws, the AX3 jaws, and you can see they're labelled 0.05, 2.5 and 6. So what I would do is I would just sort of like squeeze these tabs together so they'll just fit in the 6mm jaw, and then squeeze that down till it just one clip, so it just holds it in the tool, and then put see, it's still too thick, this wire, to go in that fitting. I'm never ever likely to use anything of this gauge, but obviously if you're using the thick stuff you'd need something different. But you can see that I've just shoved it through enough there, and I've got the fitting there. It's just one click on the ratchet, but it's just squeezed it up enough at the top to hold it in the tool. And if I carry on squeezing down now, see, that's fully folded over there, and it's put quite a sort of hefty dent in the back there, and that is solid. I'm trying with all my might there, and I cannot pull that off. So you can see the dent there in the back of it. So that's the biggest fitting you're likely to use. So I just showed you the when you fully squeeze it, it releases. Evidently, from watching other tutorials and that, this little wheel here, which you can loosen with this screw and turn round, is to adjust it so it releases. If you find that even squeezing it fully together, they're not releasing, you've got to adjust that. So whether that's, you know, later on when it's got a bit of wear in it, I don't know. But so far, I've not had to touch that at all. So hopefully, I should never need to touch that. So right, we've done it on the most common stuff and the biggest stuff. Let's try it now on some ferrules. And as I show in the in this next bit, I normally use these and still prefer to use these for ferrules. You'll see the different results that these make and these make. But if you did forget your proper ferrule spanner ones and you only had these with you, it is capable of doing ferrules. So let's have a look at it doing that now. So we've taken out the red, blue and yellow type for insulated terminals jaws, and we've now got in the ones for ferrules. Now they call this the A06WF, and for insulated end sleeves. So they call a ferrule an end sleeve. So again, I'll just zoom in. So you see these have got the inside, the sort of 4 ridges that they will be putting across the ferrule here. And again, if we push it down there, the inner cable, as you can see there, is just coming out of it. So the way you do these, and I'll show you in a second using the ferrule crimping tool that I have as well, and we'll compare the 2 different sorts of crimps. So you put it, and this is a 2.5mm ferrule. So there, you put it in the 2.5mm slot there. These are a bit easier because you just push it in as far as you can get it, and it's automatically there. Or like I say, just hold it, just give it a couple of clips before it's crimped, then shove your cable in. And if we crimp that now, you can see it's done that crimp. Now I'll get a close-up of this. In fact, first of all, I'll crimp another one, but this time with the ferrule crimping tool that I got with the ferrule set. So this is the tool I got with the ferrule set. Have a look up on the right hand side of the screen for a tab to show you a full review of this tool and the set of ferrules I got with it. And as you can see, the way this works, it squeezes in from all 4 sides at once. So again, we put it in there, right up to it, see there, and then we squeeze. And that is really tight on there. We take a look at the end of these. You can see, we'll take a look at them separately. This is the one that was done by the tool we're reviewing today, by this. If you look at the end of that, it's like sort of squashed in just on the top face. The bottom and the sides there's no marking on. It's like a sort of U-shaped channel, if you will. And the one that we've just crimped with these, those ridges are on all 4 sides. Now I prefer this one with this tool. So when I'm fitting ferrules, I'm going to continue to use that ferrule crimper. But if you're out and about and you forgot that, you can obviously use this. And this goes right up to the 6mm ferrules, which are these yellow ones. So again, the yellow one would go there in that. And in this ferrule set I've got, there is one bigger one, which are those red ones, as you can see there. the red ones are much bigger, and this tool won't take the red ones, but this one is a much wider opening. This will take a red one, and there's obviously no wire in it now, but again, with no wire in, there's nothing to support it, so it's laid it right out. But that would normally be a square with the wire inside. So as you saw there, reasonably effective on ferrules as well. Like I say, I prefer me original, ferrule tool. And like I say, either click that tab in that bit we've just done, or I'll put a link at the end of this video for the full review of this and why you should use ferrules instead of soldering the tips and stuff. I'll go fully into that. But yeah, they were both equally as tight. So it still does do a job. Now, the next one are the trickiest ones. So far, these jaws, they're perfectly symmetrical, if you will, inside. It doesn't matter which side you put the thing in. When you're doing these, like I said, the advantage of these is that they hold it, but you've got to sort of line it up so it's just flush with the edge, but it doesn't matter which way round in the jaws it goes. With a ferrule, you just shove it in until it comes up against the stop, or pull it back a bit or whatever, but again, it doesn't matter which way round you do it. But with these tricky, let me see if I can do show you close-ups in the video, but these with the wings on them, these, I call them inner and outer wings. They're like fold over tabs. And again, on these tiny ones, the same on Molex plugs if you've ever done that. In the past, I've made a right mess of them. I've put the wire in, and I bet you, or if you've tried it, or plenty of people are the same, you've just crushed it over with a pair of pin nose pliers, but it doesn't do a very good crimping job. You can usually pull your wire out after that, and it looks a right mess. So to get it done properly, you need a proper tool. And as you'll see, it does a really, really nice job. But the important thing is you must insert them from a certain way. When you look down at the sort of like bit in prints, it isn't the same each side. It is important that you shove it in from one way, and I'll show you which side, and I'll go into detail in this. So be careful. These are, I've saved the best, the trickiest till last. And but if you do it right and you shove it in the right side and size it up properly, it does an absolute brilliant job, as you'll see. So let's have a look at that now. Okay, so these are probably the most awkward ones. These tiny little ones with the two wings on them. And as you'll know, these sort of two wings here, these outer wings, they fold over and grip the insulation to act as like a cable support. And these two smaller tabs, these inner wings, are the ones that fold over and grip the cable itself. So they can be quite awkward, these ones. You're best practicing, get yourself a load of these and practice first. Because it depends which side you put them in the machine. And, of course, which slot you pick. Now, the wire, you can strip about 3mm off. What you want is, you want that bit there. You want the insulation bit to be in them outer wings. And you want the bare wire to be within the inner two wings. Like that. But you don't want the bare wire sticking right up here into the terminal. So you've got to be quite accurate, and then you've got to remember when you're shoving it in how far to shove it in. So from there, and then you shove it in about an eighth, because of course you can't see that bit when it's held in the jaws. So when you're inserting this bit, it's important to put it in here the right way round. And what you want this piece here, the very end of the outer wings, flush with the non-numbered side. So you've got this side of the jaws with no numbers on, and this side of the jaws with the numbers on. So you've got to decide which one it best fits in. And for this I found it seemed to be this one here. And if you can see there, before I close the jaws, that is flush with the outside, shoved in there, of the non-numbered side. So what you do, you sort of hold that in there, and you close the jaws just enough clicks just to hold that in place. So that is held in place now, and if you can see, it's nice and flush with the non-numbered side. You then take your piece of wire, line up the outside of the clip there, so that's that, and it's sticking through the other side. And then when you insert your wire, you know just to shove it through about 1/8 of an inch. So because this bit you can see here is the outer wings, of course. And you can check the other side whether the wire has come through, and it has. So hopefully when we crimp that, it will crimp the inner wings around the cable and the outer wings around the insulation. And like I say, the bit that is flush is the non-numbered side of the jaws. If you do it the other way, it doesn't do it properly. If we pull that out, as you see there, that's a perfect crimp. The wire is under these two here. You can see a bit of it coming out there, a bit of copper wire up to here. We've not got any in here, which is the side which will mate with the male side like that. And we've got these two crimps around the insulation. So that's the perfect crimp, and it's obviously absolutely solid on there. So yeah, that's the important thing to remember. Check which one this feels snuggest in, with the outer wings sort of bent vertically upwards. Then shove it down inside with the outer bit flush with the non-lettered side. Do not do it from that side. I'll just show you what happens if we do it the wrong way around. So just to show you how you shouldn't do it, this is it inserted the wrong way around. As you can see, we've got it in now with it flush with the numbered part of the die. And if again we shove it in, from there you can see it's come through. Look at the other side, the wire is through there, but we're on the numbered side of the die now. And if we squeeze it now, this time you see the outer wings are all wrong. There's a big bit in the middle that's squashed down, and there's bits of outer wing still sticking up. It hasn't folded it around how it should. So remember, always the flush bit on the non-numbered side. Like I say, I might paint it red or something like that just to remind me. But one last time, we've I've got another one in here now, the right way round, non-numbered side. It's a silver coloured one instead of the brass one. We'll shove our cable through, making sure it goes about 1/8 of the way in from there, and we can check the other side to see if the wire is coming through. I don't know if you can see that, but it is there. You can just see the tip of it. So if we crimp that down now, this is the correct side, and as you can see, perfect crimp around the insulation and the wire. So that was the really tiny connections, like on Molex plugs, and even small. It goes down to really tiny. So for making up the multi-white pinned plugs like you get in PCs and things. So one final demo now. Again, on the ones with wings, inner and outer wings. So the most awkward ones, but the biggest ones. Now the biggest ones I've got are them. They're quite a handy size. It's quite a common size, so I can see me using them quite often. So we'll just do one final demo now on them, and I'll mention the one set of jaws that I can't demo and tell you what they're for, because I haven't got the right connections to them and I'll probably never use. But let's show you it now, crimping these bigger connections. Okay, so the final demo, it's with the same jaws I use for the Molex type, the very thin terminal with the inner and the outer wings, and this is the biggest one I have, that type, the non-insulated with the inner and the outer wings. So this just fits perfectly in the 1.5mm slot. So again, same jaws in, put this in lined up flush with non-numbered side. So we'll get that in there like that. Okay, just click it down till it's flush. And again, we've just cut the right amount of wire off to go for the bare wire to go within the inner wings and the outer wings to grip the insulation. So shove that through there like that. I'll just turn it around and we should hopefully be able to see the copper cable coming through there. I'll make sure I've got enough of the insulation in the outer wings, which it feels like I have. And if we give that a crimp down now, and as you can see there, a perfect crimp. I'll zoom in a bit more. You can see there the outer wings are gripping the insulation perfectly, and the inner wings are crimped perfectly around the inner core, and it's just sticking out a bit the other end, but not enough to interfere with the male blade that will plug into. So yeah, another perfect crimp, and that was using these on the maximum size. Now the only set I haven't shown you demoing is these, because I've not really got anything to use on them. If you look, they're very similar to these. At first I thought they were identical, but for just bigger ones. Let's have a look, try and position it. But if we take these out and we have a look at the two corresponding pieces, you'll see on the small one there is like a, I'll just get a pointer, there's a reduction in diameter there across here, and that's accounting for the inner and the outer wings. So one folds the inner wings over, one folds the outer wings over, and that's why there is that lip there. Now on these, which are the SN25446Bs, there isn't any. It's just that lip there, that little dimple there, but that runs all the way across. There's no difference in diameter there. So what these are for, it says on the thing, I'll show you a picture of that. These are for solar MC4 connector. Now, like I say, here's a picture of a solar MC4 connector from the lid of the box. Now, I haven't got any of these. I've never even seen one. I'm not really sure what they are. But as you can see, there is no sort of inner and outer wings shown on that. It's just like one set of outer wings shown. So that's why there's no difference in diameter there on the thing. They just must fold them over. But I'm not quite sure what bit grips the insulation, what bit grips the thing. So obviously for wiring together solar panels, I would imagine, which I've never done and I've never had, but obviously a handy thing to have for that should you come across anything like that connection. So I think that concludes all the different jaws now. I've demoed all of them apart from this, which I've nothing to show in that, and yeah, that's it demo wise. We'll finish off now with a final summing up and conclusion. Okay, so that's it. I'm pretty sure I've covered everything that you need to know about this. I definitely recommend it. Half the price of that Wi-Fi one, and it just seems to do just as good a job. I'm sorry it's been so long, this video, but I've tried to edit it as much as I can. This has been my longest video it's taken to do. I've been 2 full days at this, filming, moving the camera to a different position, zooming in, loads and loads of editing, cutting out bloopers and things like that. So I've tried to edit it down as far as I can. As I mentioned at the beginning, use the red stripe on the bottom to skip to the bit you want, or the list of timestamps below if you're just interested in one particular bit. So I'll put on at the bottom of the video links to the actual thing that I got off Amazon, and also some nice sort of good value, what I thought were good value sets. The things that I used in this demo came from this set, which are like the winged ones, the non-insulated ones, but you get loads of plastic covers to cover them. That seemed quite a good set. That was just $9.99. And this one, I needed loads of heat shrink as well. So the insulated ones I got, where are we? We're in this one. I'll put a link to that, which came with a load of heat shrink, as you can see. I'll put a link to that in the description below as well. So yeah, like I say, everything I think I've covered. Hope it was of some use. Loads more coming, hopefully still on the MG. I know I keep mentioning it, we're down to sell. The latest is it's going to be here in a week, but again, I'll believe it when I see it. But stay tuned for loads of vids on that and loads more tool reviews. Please, please, please give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Thumbs down if you hated the video. And if you do want to subscribe, and the more the merrier, click the little picture of the shed here. And I'll catch you for the next one very, very soon. Thanks for watching this. Bye for now.